to quality assurance. So software testing basically is testing a software to know if it meets the required metrics, while quality assurance is going the extra lengths to improve, to give the users the perfect experience, and going uh, beyond the required metrics to meet the required standard. So that's
Okay, thank you very much, Abdulaziz. Well, I think that should be the first class, if I'm not mistaken. Can anyone confirm we have gone beyond that in our previous class? Anyone?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, thank you very much. Goodness, can you please share more light to what we did last week?
Okay, so in the last class, we talked about types of testing, and we learned that there are two types of testing, functional and non-functional tests. And functional test is the type of test that we do to check if the product is functioning as required. For functional tests, there's usually a provided set of requirements on how a particular product or software should respond. So maybe an FRD, documenting how the product should behave. So during functional testing, we check let's say an app, we check the app as against the FRD documents. And then moving on, we have different kinds of functional testing. We have unit testing, we have integration testing. Unit testing is when you're checking a particular unit, a particular functionality within the app. And we have integration testing. Integration is when you're testing a combination of different units to see how they work together. For instance, you want to, let's use Jumia for example. You click on the search bar, and then when you type in what you want to find, and then you click on enter, and you're able to view the products that you're searching for, testing the different units. And then we also have UAT testing, we have system testing, we have regression testing, and so on and so forth. So that's basically a quick recap from what we learned in the last class.
All right, thank you very much. Goodness, thank you very much. That was very detailed. Thank you very much. Can someone just explain at least two type of non-functional testing so we can proceed with today's topic for the purpose of those that were not around last week? And for those of us that were not around last week, let's try to update ourselves. We can check the video on YouTube. Let's try to update ourselves. So we want to help us to explain at least two type of non-functional testing. Anyone? Adeni Michael, can you please unmute and explain at least two type of non-functional testing or one?
Good evening. Yeah, performance testing and let me just explain performance testing. For example, just to test the performance of the software, if it's working well, and there's load testing too, where load testing is testing if they are testing under when there are lot of users, or just testing I don't know if I'm getting it properly, but I don't know if I'm explaining properly. Yeah, like just testing the when users are on it, how the software,
how much users can interact with a particular application at a time.
At a time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adeni. Thank you very much. So today we are going to talk about manual testing and automation testing. We're going to explain that, and we are going to talk about UI testing, users interface testing also. And we're going to understand the UI elements, like what we are to test, we ask us to test, what are we to check for? When we are doing UI testing, what are we to check for? We'll be doing like more of practical today because there's a site we'll be interacting with. So if you're with your PC or your phone, I'll send the site link to the chat when it is time. That's going to be after explanation. And if you need anything, you can always call me back. So let's go to this slide properly. So what is manual testing? We have manual testing and automation testing. Before I proceed with my own slide, who wants to explain what they understand by manual testing? I feel like this is not my first time of mentioning manual testing in the class generally. So who wants to explain what they understand by manual testing? Anyone, please? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sadiq. Good evening.
What I understand by manual testing is comprised of the test that's tests that have been carried out by, like for instance now, the unit testing, integration testing, user acceptance, and other, I think they're all manual testing.
Okay.
So
Okay, so let me just add to that. According to this slide, manual testing is the type of software testing in which test cases are executed manually. We have test cases, although we are still going to talk about test cases. We have a section for that. We have test cases, and test cases is just like a step-by-step of how an app is going to be tested. It is a document that shows how an app is going to be tested, what the expected result of an app of that app should be, and the actual results. Like it's just like a document. So we are still going to talk about test case later in the sections, in the coming sections. So manual testing is a software testing in which test cases are executed manually. Manually, we means like it is a particular individual or a software tester that is behind the execution of the test case. You check your test case. Okay, this verify. I'm citing a test case example. Like verify if user can successfully log in with valid password and username. Then you go to the application, you write your test steps, expected results. The user should be able to successfully log in with valid password and username and the actual results. Then for you to get your actual results, you go to the application under test, like the application you want to perform your test. You try to log in. You have registered, right? You try to log in. You put your username, Taiwo Boluwatife, your password, T99. You click on login. If you're able to log in, then you will pass that particular test because you were able to log in under some certain condition, maybe under some certain condition, depending on the type of window you use, the type of browser, other things. We'll talk about that in details when we get to test case, right? So when a tester is executing test cases manually, without any automation tools, not like you're using any form of automation tools to carry out your test. It's not like you're using Selenium to interact with your test, like to test if user can log in. It's not like we write some set of scripts to check, okay, let me write some set of scripts on Selenium to check if a user can log in on Chrome, on Firefox, on Edge, on Microsoft Edge. But in this time around, it is a tester that is an individual that is interacting with the application, to get the feedback from the application. You interact with the application as an individual, you get the feedback from the application, then you'll be able to know if you have to pass your test or you have to say your test is successful or failed. The purpose of manual testing is to identify bugs, issues, defects in the application. The purpose of manual testing or automation testing per se is just for us to identify bugs. Like when you are testing, okay, this thing is not working, this one is working, defects, anything that is not working or functioning the way it's supposed to function in the software application. That is why we carry out manual testing. And we said manual testing is the most primitive techniques of all testing types because it's like an ancient technique. Like is the most ancient techniques because before all these automation tools come into places, people have been manually testing their applications. That is the way it was. That is the way it has been before these automation tools started coming into places. And it helps us to find critical bug in the software application. If there's one thing manual testing will help us to do, we all cannot lie that it will help us to find critical bugs in the software application. I'm not saying automation testing cannot help us to find critical bugs, but you know that this automation, like your automation script might even have a bug sometimes that you might not even be checking for the right thing, the automation script. And since you ask the system that, okay, if you find this, pass, the system will not go beyond, okay, I find this, so the system will just pass that test. But if it is a human being that is testing or an individual that is testing, you find this, but I feel like this thing I found, maybe you're trying to log in and your password is correct, but you added a space in between and the system accepts it. In a normal condition, your password should not contain a space. Please, are you following? I need anyone to unmute or thumbs up or any reactions, so I'll be able to continue. All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as I was saying, if you enter password, if your password contains space, I mean you enter the space bar from your keyboard and input it in your password, it's supposed not to allow you to log in because that is not an incorrect password, except if you were creating that password, you added space, or except if there was a code in the system that is going to disable that space. Some applications are so good at making sure that there is no white spacing. They're going to write a code to disable that white spacing to join those words together, and no spacing will be allowed or will be seen by the software, and it will be accepted. But if those cases were not being considered, as I said earlier, if you write an automation testing script to test for a login functionality with a password that contains space in between, ideally your automation tool will just write the password and pass your test. You are able to verify login is successful. Yes, login is successful. It will pass that test for you. But if you are testing as a software tester, you will go beyond checking those. You will go beyond passing that because you want to question the application. Why do I add white spacing? Why do I add spacing to my password and it allow me to log in? This is not the right reaction I'm expecting from this application. They're able to question the application, you're able to question the developer that is writing the code, you're able to question the production team as a whole. Okay, do you really want our application to allow users to put space in between their password? Then if that is what they want, then it's fine. What I'm saying in essence is that if we are testing manually, it enables us to discover critical bugs that are most of edge cases bug. Because if you are writing code for your automation testing, you might not even consider your edge cases. But if you are testing manually, you want to question the application. You want to go beyond you want to go beyond testing both positive and negative scenarios alone. You want to try your boundary testing. You want to try your negative testing. You want to try your edge cases testing. It's not that you can't do all this in automation testing. Please don't get me wrong. You can as well do all this in automation testing, but some critical bugs are majorly found when you are testing manually. That's why you have to, as a QA testers, you have to be so good in manual testing. I know that everybody wants to jump on the tools. Like these days, everybody just wants to jump on the tools, know this, know that, know this, know that. But in the real world scenario, they want to test your manual skills. Like, how good you are manually. And there's one thing, especially when you're doing UI testing, if you are not so good in manual testing, you won't be able to write so much scenarios or so much scripts when it comes to automation testing, that is when manual testing is very, very important. Do we understand? Can I continue with the slide? Please, a
Yes,
thumbs
you
up.
can.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So we have type of manual testing. We have talked about these types last week. So please, who wants to help us with what do you understand by black box testing? We talk about this under functional testing, right? Anyone, please?
Black box testing is when you're testing without understanding the code. You have no idea what was waiting, but you're just testing to see how it works.
Perfect, perfect. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Goodness. Okay. Anyone that wants to help us with white box testing, at least Goodness has opened the floor. Black box, you don't understand the code you text. So what does white box mean?
White box is the opposite of black box texting. You understand the code to some extent.
Yes, thank you very much, Emmanuel. So white box is just the opposite of black box testing. This time around, you know what is going on in the code, you understand the code, then you test with the understanding of the code. Okay, we want to help us with the definition of unit testing. Let us be fast so we can go to anyone. I just want us to have a quick recap of these things.
Unit testing is just testing a particular module.
A particular module. Module is big, oh.
Or a unit in a module.
Yes. Module is big, but a particular unit, yes, like a smallest unit, a particular unit, yes. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much. All right. So who wants to explain system testing? I feel like everybody should know the system testing now because we went back and forth on it the last time we were having our class. Anyone that wants to explain? Okay, it's like I'll go and call name. Blessing Samuel, please unmute. Blessing Samuel.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes, please, can you explain what you understand by system testing for us?
The type of system software testing that's performed on a complete integration with that works with the compliance of the system.
Thank you very much, Blessing Samuel. Thank you very much. That's so perfect. All right. Temidayo Ige, can you explain what you understand by integration testing for us?
Yeah, integration testing is when you're testing the module, like you're testing more than one cell. Let me put it that way. Module.
You are testing. Yes, you're on track. Just try to put those words together. Thank you very much again. Temidayo.
Yes, we are testing module, not unit.
Yeah, you're checking out. Okay, you're checking out a particular unit integrate with another. Like, thank you very much. Okay, acceptance testing is still the same thing as UAT. So who will explain that for us? Acceptance testing, users acceptance testing, acceptance testing. Anyone?
Okay. Acceptance testing is when the client like checks if the system, like the software that was produced, meets like their requirements.
Yeah, thank you very much, Favor. So I feel like this exploratory testing, we've not talked about it. I need to add it to it. Exploratory testing is just when we are trying to explore the app. This time around, you don't have test case, you don't have test plan. They just ask you, this is our site too. Just explore it. Just use it as the user will use it. Just do anything you like on it and report bugs for us. Do you understand exploratory testing? You explore the application, not necessarily you following the FRD this time around or any document. You just explore. Okay, have you used e-commerce sites before? Yes, I've used e-commerce sites before. Okay, you're a software tester. Okay, help us to test this e-commerce site. You just test, check for possible scenarios. What you will test, you just explore and you check and report bugs if you find any. That is explorative testing. So these are types of manual testing. Everything we've mentioned so far are types of manual testing. So how do we perform manual testing? Like, how do we perform manual testing? The first thing we have to do is to read and understand the software. We have to read and understand the software documentation very well. Like, and also the application under test, if available. The software, the FRD and the software documentation, specification, anything that is regarding the software you're about to test, read, digest, and understand it. Then, if there is like a close application to that application you want to test, you can also study that as well. If there is a close application to, like, maybe you want to test, how am I going to say? Maybe you want to test a bank app now. You want to test transfer, like if users can transfer in a particular bank app. After you have read that documentation, you have understand it, you can go and check with other banks. Like, you can go and check, okay, this is so bank. How do they do transfer in their own banks? Okay, this is another bank. How do they do? Just try to use other applications that are related to the application you're about to test. If there's a functionality you want to test, try to link it to a real life scenario. Look for a real life site that is doing that thing that your own application is about to do. But maybe the application is just trying to do it in a different way, or even better than the way they have been doing it. So for you to be able to test that application, when you are testing with understanding of the application you are testing, it will make you to interact with the application as if you are interacting with a new, different application. But if you are testing with understanding of that particular application you're about to test, right, it will make you to interact with the application with the understanding that, okay, this is the same thing as this one I used to use. So you'll be able to relate it to what users will do. You'll be able to relate it to what users will do. No, now the second thing is for us to draft the test case that covers all the requirements mentioned in the document. Now you have to write your test case, and your test case must be so detailed. I know we are still going to talk about test case in this class. You have to write your test case. It must cover everything that is in the requirements, like in the documentation. It must cover everything, even beyond. You must check for everything. Your test case must not be missing out anything. As a software tester, your test case must not be missing out anything. If people see your test case, or if a team lead see your test case, they should be able to feel like, kudos to you. Like, the last test case I was writing, even before I presented it to my team lead, I was giving myself some credit that I did a good job. So that is the you should be able to write a very detailed test case. Like, you should be able to be detailed, that even if someone that is not a software tester pick it up and read and follow the instruction, the person will be able to test the application effortlessly. We are still going to talk about test case later in the coming section. You have to review and baseline the test case with the team lead and client. Of course, if after you are done with your test case, there will be a section for review to be able to, maybe if there's a QA team lead in the organization, you have to review if there is a client that is available to review your test case. If it is the product manager or the product owners, as the case may be, they'll review your test case with you to be so sure that your test case is not missing out anything. So you have to execute the test cases on the application under test. After you have done that, after your test case have passed review from every section or every angle it is coming from, then you have to execute your test case. What is execution of your test case? You have your test case that by saying that, okay, the first test case 001, TC 001, you verify that users can successfully log in. Then you test the application. Can I really log in as a user? Okay, yes, no, pass, fail, successful. Then you report bugs. If you are testing, if your test case is well detailed, right, you will be able to find bugs, like a lot of bugs, because all those developers, they just want to do work and be like, okay, let's pass it to the QA. They don't really want to do everything. Not like consciously that though, but they just want to do it and pass it to the QA. So in this time, you have to find bugs as a QA. You have to cover your test cases to be able to be so sure that you find critical bugs non-critical bugs, any bugs, just find it, report it, post it, so that they will be able to fix it. So, and once bugs are fixed, you have to execute the failing test cases again to verify the passes. So this is how you carry out a manual testing. Don't forget that if you want to carry out a manual testing, the first thing you have to do is to read the documents. I'm just doing a recap. I might call anybody to do this recap for me. It's just to read the document, like you should read the document, the guide. You have to read your document, understand the document before you even start testing. There are some documents that can even take you 3 hours, 8 hours. Some documents might even take you 2 weeks to understand, depending on how critical the functionality is, and depending on how critical or how unrelatable. You know, there are some applications you will test that you can relate to it, but if you are testing some critical functionality, there is no way you want to even see an application, a site that you can check for an example. So you have to understand it. And if there are sites that you can check for an example of that application you want to test, just go on it, explore the site, use the site as a user will use it, question the application, use it to advance your test cases. Then next thing is for you to draft your test cases. After you have drafted your test cases, of course, your test case will pass through review from the either QA lead, product owner, product manager, anybody. Then you execute the test case. After you have executed your test case, you report bugs. And once your bugs are fixed, you test those bugs, those test cases that failed, because those test case fails. That is why they were bug. So you test it, okay, it has now passed. Then you do another testing, like you do another testing again, more like a regression testing. So do we understand before I proceed? You can just do a sign or anything. So sure. Do we understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So who wants to explain to us how we are to test our application manually, like those steps we think we should do before we test our application manually? Anybody? Normally, I like people just explaining voluntarily, but it's like people like me calling names. Anybody? Okay. So favor, can you hear me,
Yes, I
please?
can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very
Yes,
much.
I
Can you
can.
please explain to us how we are to go about our manual testing if we are to test manually, like those steps we have to check?
Okay, so you'd read the requirements or the guide and make sure you like understand it. Then you now do there's something AUT, something like that.
AUT just means application
Eh,
under test. That is the application you are about to test.
Oh, okay, okay. Then you
Yes.
go through the application you're about to test. You check
Yeah.
the AUT document and all. Then you now like draft your test cases that would be the requirement should be involved in the test case.
Okay.
Then you review the baseline
Okay.
with like a team lead or maybe like a team lead or client.
Yeah, all the
Then
products.
you now
Yeah.
execute and you execute the test case.
Yes.
Then if maybe there are bugs that are found, you now like report the bugs.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
when you fix the bug, you would go back to like check for you check the bugs that were fixed, you check the issues that you had, and then make sure that they are no longer there. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Now we want to talk about automation testing. Please, do you have any question before I proceed? Do you have any question? Okay, I'll assume we are all clear. So automation testing techniques, on the other hand, automation testing is when you are testing an application and you are testing that application using automation tools. That particular application, you are testing it using application tools. It's a technique where the testers write scripts independently and users suitable software or application tools to test the software. Now, if I want to test API testing, I will write script on Postman, because Postman is like an application. It is like an automation tools that is suitable for me to test API. So I'll write scripts on Postman, then I'll be able to test my Postman. If I want, then I'll be able to test my APIs. So if I want to test my UI, I'll write script on Selenium, then I'll be able to test my UI, the user interface of my application. So it is when a software tester writes scripts, they write some lines of code to carry out the testing using automation testing tools. It allows for executing repetitive tasks without the inversion of manual testing. One thing that automation tools does is that, just imagine as a QA, you have an application and you have to be testing that application every day to ensure that users are able to perform some certain activities on it. And there is no new features, it's just the application. If there is automation tools, right, you will have the scripts, then you just get to work, you just run the scripts and you'll be able to test, like not like you trying to interact with the application directly. You have your script, you try to log in, check if users can make payment, check if users can submit form, check if users can do this, check if users can do that. You just execute your code and you watch the response from the code you are executing. You check your feedback. Okay, nothing has broken as of today. But if you have to do that manually, you come today, you have to log into the application manually. You have to check all those forms that are in the application one by one. Like you have to do it one by one. You have to do it yourself. It's going to be time consuming. It's going to be more like it's repetition. Like you're doing the same thing over and over again. You do it today, you do it tomorrow, you do it next week. Same thing. Nothing changed, nothing new. That is why there is need for us to do automation testing, especially for functionalities that they are static. They are not prone to change. We need to automate them. It is used to automate the testing tasks that are difficult to perform manually. As I've said earlier on, some testing tasks are difficult to perform manually. So you just have to write some set of scripts for it. And it's not like they are difficult to perform, but maybe it's going to be time consuming. The last time we were talking about performance testing, do you remember when I was telling you that we might need some users to use the application, so we can be able to check the number of time it will take to load. We can be able to check the number of users that will break the application. Imagine you want to perform load testing on an application. We need to invite maybe like 1,000 testers. Okay, we need 1,000 testers to perform a manual test on Facebook, to be so sure that if 1,000 users are on the site at the same time performing different functionalities, it will not break down. That is going to be stressful, time consuming, and every other thing that is a lot of things going to be a disadvantages to performing that kind of scenario manually. But with the help of automation tools, we'll be able to test it without stress and without time and every other thing. Automation tests can be run at any time of the day, as they use script sequence to examine the software. You can wake up in the midnight if you are with your PC, if you are with your PC, if you have network, and you feel like, I just want to test this site if it's still going, you can test it. It's not like you cannot do it any time of the day. Imagine if it is woman being that's supposed to test and be like somebody like me that I'm not a morning person. I'll be like, oh, it's too early for me to test. Just let me wait till some time, so I'll be able to get myself. No, your automation testing tool will carry it out regardless of the time. Automation tests can also enter test data compared to the expected results with the actual results and generate the detailed reports. That's what I was explaining. Like for when you are testing with your automation testing tools, you give it an actual expected results. This is what I'm expecting this application to do. So it will generate, after it has tested, it will generate the actual report for you, and it will give you the whole report. Okay, you expected your app to click on yes. your app click on yes, pass. Okay, in this place, you expected your application to click on no, your app click on yes, fail. So the automation testing tool is fast for generating reports instead of you to manually generate your report or manually start writing or documenting your report again. After you have test finished, after you have find bug, you now need to manually post your bug and start documenting your bugs. No, automation testing tools are very fast in bug reporting. Like they will give you a report. This is the number. We execute 1,000 tests, 500 pass, 500 fails, and it would give you the details of pass tests and the details of failed tests. And the goal of automation tests is to reduce the number of test cases to be executed manually, but not to eliminate manual testing. I'm going to emphasize, I'm going to, okay, Comfort, Comfort, please hold on, I will call you. I'm going to talk so much about automation testing to is not eliminating manual testing. Because some people feel like automation testing want to eliminate manual testing. No, automation testing is just to enhance manual testing. It's just to make sure that manual testing is like all those repetitive tasks, as I've said earlier on, all those repetitive tasks that I've said earlier on. Please, I can't hear you, ma. Please, can anyone confirm if they can hear me? Oh, Comfort says she's not hearing me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Louder.
Okay, Comfort, please, maybe you should check with your network. Comfort. Okay, please, let me to tell Comfort, you can type it on the chat. She should check with her network since you all can hear me. So, majority of people believe that automation testing is here to eradicate manual testing, but it is a lie. Because even if you don't understand what you want to test, there's no way you'll be able to write script. So manually, you still have to test that application and before you start writing your script. So that is that. Do you have any question as regarding what automation testing is all about before I proceed? Do you have any question as regarding automation testing before I proceed? All right. So let's go to the next slide, the user's interface testing. And this is where we are going to stop and also proceed to the practical aspect, right? So the user's interface testing is in software testing is the types that verify whether the user's interface of any application meets the requirements, specified requirements, and function to provide a positive user's experience. We are to test if, okay, what we are giving our application to the user. Don't let us forget that we are giving our application to the users. So we are going to test the way our users are also going to interact with the application, the way they are going to test the application, the interface, the way they are going to use. Don't let me use test now. We are the one testing the application. They are the one using the application. Okay, we have to test the way our users is going to use the application and to be so sure that they have a positive user experience. They have a perfect user experience. It's not like your user is trying to do something and that thing is not working. That is not what we are expecting. We have to check every functionalities. It involves testing virtual elements. We check every element, every layout, every navigation, and overall usability of the application. You check every element. We are going to be talking about UI elements today. We are going to check every element, every layout, every navigation, everything to be so sure that our application is usable and our users are experiencing a positive experience, not like they are trying to do something and they are finding it so difficult to navigate or to do it. We have graphical users interface testing. Is the process to ensure the proper functionality of the graphical user's interface for a specific application. If you are doing graphic, like you are going to ensure the proper functionalities of your interface, like the graphical user's interface, the one that it's being known to your users, the one your users will see, they will interact with, to ensure that everything is working perfectly as is stated in the application. GUI testing generally evaluates a design of elements such as layouts. You check for layouts, you check for color, You check for font size. Okay, the font size is okay, not like they are trying to write user interface testing is a software testing. Imagine if I use, I'm just citing an example. Imagine if I use user interface testing is a software testing, blah, 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 blah. I use like 41 font size for it, and I'm using 10 for the next line. Like, there is no way everything will align. So you have to check everything. You have to check the labels. You have to check the text boxes. You have to check the text formatting. You have to check the captions, the button, the list, icons, links, and everything. So what UI elements do we need to test? Comfort, you raise your hands. Can you unmute and speak now?
Okay, I wanted to ask a question. Sorry, before I couldn't hear what you were saying. It's
All
about
right.
automatic testing. You said it has to do with if you're going to test the app or anything automatically, you need to write scripts, like whatever tools you're using. And you said the script has to do with writing code. What if as a tester I don't know how to write code? How will I do?
As a tester, it's not like still you are writing too much of code, but some lines of code to be able to perform your testing. If you want to do automation testing, you will need to be able, as a tester, to write some lines of code. Not too difficult. Comfort, does that answer your question?
Yes. And I hope that will be taught here.
Yes. Not like in
Okay.
depth, but at least to some extent.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Blessing Samuel, please, can you hear me now? Do you understand? I can go back in case. Blessing Samuel, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am, I'm hearing you.
All right. Do you need me to go back and explain anything? I'm just getting your chart now.
Yes. From the GUI, graphic file user interface. I don't understand.
Okay, from the graphical user interface. Sorry. So the graphical user interface is just a process to ensure that all the graphical users interface of the applications are working the way they're supposed to work. And there are some things you are going to check for. You are going to evaluate your elements such as layout. Like, okay, how is this application properly, like, is the layout of this application, is it well placed? You're going to check the color. I've talked about colors in previous class. If the color is the same color as the brand color, you're going to check the front size. You know, when you are using front and front size, the front, if the front is area, the front size is 10. Imagine that is what the application majorly use. So if you are seeing any other font size that is different from that, you should be able to question the application or the anybody that write the code. We are going to check the labels, the text boxes, the text formatting, captions, button, lists, icons, links, and etc. So that is what you are going to check for when you are doing UI testing. Blessing, do you understand now?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So please, can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to send this link to the chat now. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah,
Nigerian.
I can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So you guys can click on the link in the chat now. Please let me know when you have done that. Just click on the link. If you are using your phone or your PC, I want every one of us to be on this site. Please, I'm waiting. At least if at least 3 people have responded, then we can proceed with the class. Can you all confirm you can see the link? Hey, please, where is the link? It's above your message.
Yes, I've opened the link.
Yes.
I've clicked on it.
All right. Thank you very much, Comfort. Okay. So please let's be fast, please. We can't see the link. Hey, who can't see the link again? I've sent another one. All right. So we all are on the same page now, right? Hello, can you hear me? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Yes. So if you log into an application, this is not your first time of seeing something like this. Like maybe you're trying to fill a form, right? Maybe you're trying to fill a form and you see something like this. So this is what we call text box. This is a 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 text box. This full name. We can see full name. I cannot click, I cannot interact with it. Can you hear me? Who can tell us what this full name is called? Full name, we have name at example.com, we have current address. Anyone? Anyone? Okay. So these ones are, someone is talking, please. Can you be audible?
It's a text box.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I said, please repeat your question.
We can now see this full name that is inside our text box. In the email, we have name at example.com, and in the current address. Ma?
I'm seeing it.
Yes. So who can tell us what they are called? I see someone said labels. It is called placeholder, like placeholder. Yeah, thank you, Ademola. They are called placeholder. Like they are just to give you they are just to remind users, like, okay, this particular text box, this is the functionality, this is what you should put in this text box. Users forget things easily. Maybe you are trying to fill a very long form. Although they have indicated that this place is full name, but users will still forget. So that's why they are called placeholders. They are just to hold what it is expected, or just to show users what they are expected to put in the text box. But anytime you see anything like this on any application, just remember that this is text box. These are text boxes. This is a text box. 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 So how do we test a text box? Okay, if I want to test, okay, before I even say how do we test, how do you use a text box? Anyone? If you want to fill this form now, how do you do it? Oh yeah. Everyone, fill your form. You're on the site, Abby. Fill your form and click on submit. Then you should tell me what happened next. Fill everything and click on submit. I'm expecting our response soon. Are we filling?
Yes, ma'am, we are feeling it.
All right. Yeah, fill everything. Fill everything, the full name, the email, the current address. The address can be as short as possible because of time. Don't worry, don't put number. Don't put just put city and state. Example, Ikeja, Lagos, Abeokuta, Ogun State. So short. Yes, everyone is to fill. Omolara. Everyone is to fill. Let's be so fast. Let's be fast.
I think the submit is not.
Sir?
I said I think the submit icon is not maybe it's not submit sure.
It's not submitting. So
Okay, I can
what?
see it.
Okay, the country.
For me,
Were you able to submit?
Okay,
Okay, I think just comes down.
Okay.
I've submitted. I'm seeing the details of what I
submitted,
you.
right? Yes,
Yes.
yes. That
Mine is
shows that
not submitting. Oh,
whose own is not submitting.
No, it's submitted, but I'm saying the details down. All details down.
Under, yes, that's the right. Someone said our own is not submitting. Will you check your network? Will you check?
okay.
It's
I saw the
supposed
details down, the full details down.
yes,
Is
the full
that
details
it?
now. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So
Okay.
this is, on a normal day, if you submit an application, you will receive like a pop-up message saying submission successful, right? So if you were able to submit on this site, for you to be so sure that you have submit, it will return back to you the value of what you submitted, like your full name, your email, your current address, your permanent address. So if you have to test this text box now, without wasting so much of our time, if you want to test this full name text box, now you think like a tester. As an user, what you will do is Taiwo, sorry, Boluwatife. Then you will click on your submit when you are done. But as a tester, who can tell me what else I can do to on this box? I want to test this submit function, this full name functionality. What other thing can I do? Oh yeah, let's think like as a tester now. Oh yeah.
Okay, you can impute an email to see if it will go through.
Thank you very much. I can input an email like Taiwo Boluwa@gmail.com. This is not an email field, right? So if I input an email and I input my name here, and I put Ogun here, and I put Lagos here, then I submit. You can see that. So what happened? What are we seeing on our screen? I feel like everybody is seeing my screen, Abby, on my own screen, rather. We are now.
The email is showing
You're
that
unable
the
to
email is showing
submit
red.
because the email section is showing red.
I'm unable to submit because the email section is showing red, but the name section is not showing red. Okay.
Yes.
But is the name section correct?
No.
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 It's not correct. All right. Thank you very much. So if I've put my email here, at least that is what is flagging, then I've corrected it. Then I try to submit. My form still submits. Is this name correct?
No.
No.
So automatically that is a what?
The
The
bug.
bug.
That is a bug. So that's how you have to think like a tester when you're interacting with the application. You have to check for negative inputs. This is a negative input. This field, they write it in the placeholder, full name. The name of this text box is full name. So if I try to put anything that is not my full name, or that does not look like a name, the field I should not be able to submit the whole form. Okay, who else can tell me now? Let's start thinking like a testers now. Who else can tell me what else you are supposed to do, or what I'm supposed to test for in this name section? Oh yeah.
We can check the numbers at the full name section
I can check what, please? I can't hear you very well,
for
Favor.
numbers. Like a
Oh,
name is not supposed to have numbers.
I can put numbers on the full name section. Name does not supposed to have number, any form of number, either phone number, either numbers. If I try to submit this application, this form rather, it is not supposed to be submitted. But if I submit, you can see what happened.
It's submitted.
It's
There's a
submitted.
bug.
So there is a bug. So this is a name field. So that's how you think like a tester. You try, the first thing you should do. This is the best way to approach anything you are testing as a tester. First thing, test your positive words, your positive scenario first, and which is what I have asked everybody to do. I asked everybody to input full name, email, state, and no address and permanent address. That is positive scenarios. You have to test it first. Check if those ones are working. Don't be a tester that will be checking for negative scenarios without checking positive scenarios. You know it can happen. You might check for every negative scenario here, and you will not even remember to check for your positive scenario. So first thing you should do as a tester, first, what I used to do, and what I used to advise QA to do, check your positive scenario first. At least let's be sure that our positive scenario, like if I put full name on this text box, it will submit. And developer always make sure that those positive scenarios, they are working. So that's not developers with weak points. That's not the bug that cannot be. Imagine if you give this form to someone to fill, and the person just fill. You know, most of us have filled this form without even noticing that there is bug on this form, right? But when we are trying to interact with it in different dimensions, when we are trying to interact with it by putting our negative inputs, by trying other things that are not supposed to be, then we started noticing the bug. That's how you test a text box field. You test if it enforces required, if it enforces required. Like for this field now, I feel like, I want to clear everything. I'm clearing everything on my screen, and I want to submit. This is also a bug, because I'm able to submit a blank word because I not put anything here, so I'm not getting anything in return. So I'm able to submit a blank response. Please, are we still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We also to check in some cases, they will tell you that your full name is required. So you have to check if users can actually submit without full name. Let's assume that the specification of this site says that full name is required, and I put email at example.com. I put address, I put anything. Then I submit. You see, the name is not a what? Is not a required field. I fill this form without a name, which is also a bug. If the email also is supposed to be required, you check for that too. You check for your required field when you're interacting with text boxes. Then another thing you text for is character limits. Another thing you text for is character limits. Like, what is the longest name length we have ever seen? Let's be realistic. Anyone? Anyone now? What is the longest name, like the length, the character length of a name you have ever seen? Is anyone talking? Michael, what is the longest? 65. Somebody says 65. Like, really? 65? A name of a person? Sorry. Okay, let's say 65. Okay, if the name field should not take more than 100, so you check. You try to input maybe 101 to the field and you try to submit. I'm just giving you scenarios, like when you are trying to test what you should test for. You should try to test if in the minimum character, the maximum character of the application. You try to test. This one, there was a time we tested an application. This one I'm about to say. There was a time we tested an application, a very critical application. Like, everybody tested. The senior QA, the junior QA, the team lead, everybody tested. Nobody remember to test this scenario. It was not in our test case. It was not in anywhere. If you can get that scenario, can anybody guess that scenario? I want to tell us about it now. Can anyone guess? Do you have anyone that wants to guess?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please talk. Hello? There's someone was talking.
Okay. So there's this scenario where you put in the email, where you put a particular email, then if you add plus something like, let's say name now, plus something plus, let's say, plus ABC, name plus ABC at
Plus
ABC
ABC
at example.com.
at example.com. Okay.
Okay, so let's say this is an email. It will send to this particular email. It will send to name at example.com. Like
Removing
the email
this
servers will ignore anything after that plus.
after that plus. All
Yes.
right. All right. Yeah. That's the scenario. But that's this scenario I'm talking about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's also like what you can also check for. But this scenario I'm talking about is very, very simple. That we all are wondering how we omitted it. And we omitted it because it is a number field. Like it is a number field and it has to do with calculation. So that was the major reason why we omitted it. The scenario is just copy and paste function. Copy and paste function. You copy from a different application and you paste it to this place. Like I'm trying to copy this person that said 65. I copy from the Zoom chat, then I paste it here. So what happened is that it's not as if you copy and paste for that application, it's not as if it will not work. But because it has to do with calculation. So if you copy and paste a function, it will not calculate. I don't know if you understand my point. So you have to test the little thing. You have to test if users can press Ctrl Z. You see, I just press Ctrl Z now, and the number I copied disappeared. Little things that you feel like users can do, like they can do, because it is for somebody that is so used to operating an application, we might get tiring filling all this form one by one. The person might just feel like, okay, I have this somewhere, let me just copy, let me just paste it there. And imagine you test everything, you do not remember to test that copy and paste function. You have to test everything that is possible. You have to think of scenarios as a user and you have to test it. So this thing is a test field. There's a way you test a test field. Because of our time, let's go to the checkbox. This is a checkbox. Do you have any question before I proceed, please? Anybody? Okay, Comfort, please proceed.
Okay, can we perform this type of testing? The testing that has to do with the UI UX parts, like the design, like I forgot it, good students. Now, how do we test it on this page now?
That's if we have the UI UX layout for this page. Comfort, are you with me?
Yes.
If we have the Figma link design to this page, that's how we can able to test the UI UX. That's where we can check if what was designed on Figma is the same thing as what we have on the page. Are you with me
Okay.
now?
Yes, yes.
Who is asking a question? Please proceed.
Salam. You were talking about when you are putting a number, like a name, like a kind of maybe it has a number like 100 numbers, then you now type 101 number. That means it's a bug. But I want to ask, how do you know the required number on the full name, on the name you're supposed to?
It will be stated in the FLD, right? It will be stated.
Oh,
For
okay.
this type of thing, we are just trying to talk about possible scenarios, like what you can check for. And even if it's not stated, there are some, you can just interact with some application. Some application, just interact with it. With that, you'll be able to get their maximum capacity and their minimum capacity. There are sometimes you as a user, you might have come across that scenario that you're trying to input something that will tell you, this is beyond the maximum capacity of this field, something. So it will be
Yes,
stated. And if it's not stated, like it will be stated. And if you are trying to perform explorative testing that is not stated, if you are interacting with the application, you'll be able to know the maximum length and the minimum length because the validation will have been added to the application. Does that answer your question?
yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Blessing, please proceed with your question.
Okay, so,
All right,
I want to
all right,
ask,
Blessing.
what if it's for the, how would I say, the testing is for someone from another language? Take for instance, French. A French person. Take for instance, this text box says you put a French name.
Yes. Yes, we put a French name. If you are testing in French, your system display name should not be in French. Like your system language should not be displaying English, right? And your letters should not also be displaying English. Like you should know how they have. I don't know French, but I hope you get I hope you get my answer. If I'm testing in French now, my system application language by default, it should not be full name. It should be whatsoever full name is in the language I'm testing with. So if I'm inputting anything, it should come as that language, not as English. Blessing, do you understand my answer now?
I still have something I'm not getting. Like I understand the first one you said. Like take for instance now, this take for instance the app now is for people of different languages, different countries. Then the person this is written in English. Then the person has to impute his name in Chinese or Portuguese or any other language. How will it help? How are we going to test it to know that if that person puts in this particular language can see what or another person in that same language?
Blessing, I need to understand your question very well. Do you mean that if I'm to test an application that is French based and I'm to input a name that is French based, how am I supposed to test that scenario? Or you
No,
mean
and
that,
okay,
okay,
okay.
or you mean that if I'm to test an application that is French based and I'm to input my name as an English name, how am I supposed to test that scenario?
I'm saying that take for instance our users, we are looking at a global user for the testing.
Okay,
We're looking at
okay,
users are not only Nigerians, are not only English based people. How are we
okay.
going to test it for others that are not within our own English phases? Whether you understand what I mean.
I feel like it's more of language settings.
Wait, I think what she's trying to say is that what if the app does not come in English? Like this one now, you can read everything here in English. The app comes and it's maybe Spanish or Irish.
Okay,
I think
okay,
that's what you mean, I guess.
okay. Blessing, is that what you mean?
No, that's not what I mean. No. I'm saying
Oh,
if the app is for different countries, different languages, and we are to test for a general thing, if we as testers are only giving English, to only use English names or emails on English, how about people that users that need to input their own on in Chinese or another language? What if they have bugs and we will use English and our own or no bugs or issues?
Blessing, for that kind of application, I feel like it would be more like a setting. The the application I'm testing currently at my workplace have different language, and I'm testing in English. So I feel like in our system setup, we have a system setup module. Like you just have to change your language from there. It's just like you're using your phone in English and it's working very well in English. You now feel like you go and change your settings, you go and change mm, your language to Chinese and you expect it not to work very well. Is that possible? So I feel like it's more like a language. That should not be an issue. And if it should be an issue, they should give it to someone that can relate to the language to test. After an English person has tested the application, then they should proceed to give it to someone that can relate to that language. If you are a tester and you are capable to relate to that language, then they should give it to that tester to also check from the end. I hope that answer
Okay,
your
ma.
question.
Okay, ma. So you're saying that if a tester that only understands English can test a particular application, even if the app is now launched, even if another country uses that same app, it doesn't have any issue.
It should not have any issue because the language is going to be more like a setting functionality.
Okay.
It's not going to be like you can only use. It's not like you can only use that application in one language. If I can use this application in English, I can use it in French, I can use it in Spanish. Then there should be a settings for it that if I change from English to Spanish, everything that will display on my screen should be Spanish. I don't know if you get my point.
All right. Mm.
So it should be more like a language functionality. And if it's going to be an issue, as I've said earlier on, the product owner will know how to navigate that to give it to users that can interact with the language. But if you test something on English, and if they, except for maybe spelling, and maybe you don't know what full name is really in Korean or any other language you are trying to do, but the normal processing, the flow, everything should just work the same way to work on a normal day. So do you have any question
All right.
before we proceed? Blessing, do you understand my point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So do you have any other question? All right. So let's go to checkbox because of our time. So this is a checkbox, right? If you want to test a checkbox, we cannot go to checkbox if we are still on the app, on the site rather. So how do we, what are we testing for? If we are testing checkbox, oh yeah, anyone, please. No, normally me, I like people just talking without me calling names. Okay. I'm going to look for somebody.
The first thing here is to check if the. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear someone.
Okay, the first thing is to check the box first. If it will check.
Okay, we have to check it first if it will check. So we
Yes.
click on it.
I
So,
assume this is an e-commerce website, right?
no, this is like a demo website for QA.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just assuming like it could be an e-commerce for testing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So let's do we have any way we can add it to the cart or something?
No.
No, okay.
What other elements? Sorry, Sam. What other elements are we seeing on this screen aside from this checkbox?
I'm only seeing home, just home. Then I'm seeing the addition or subtraction sign. Yeah, by the right hand side.
Okay.
Let's click that. There's an arrow there. Let's see if it will bring down what is inside. Maybe a subfolder inside of it.
What is the name of this arrow?
This a toggle.
No.
A collab. A drop down.
A drop down. Thank you very much, please.
Okay.
This is a drop down. Anywhere you see an arrow like this is a drop down. It's indicating that this is not all. Like if you click on me, there is still more. You see that before I click on it, I'm only seeing home. But when I click on it, I'm seeing what? Other things. So this desktop is saying that, okay, I'm not the only one here. I still have more things under me. There you click on it. Can we see? So this is a drop down.
Okay.
So if we are to, if thank you very much, Sam. You can mute your mic now. Thank you very much. So if we are to test a checkbox, right? We have to check if it can click, as Sam has said, if we can click that text checkbox, and if we can unclick that checkbox. So another thing we have to test is if we can click. Who noticed what happened the other time? There's a bug here. Who wants to tell me what the bug is?
When you click the
I click.
Please, if you are talking, maybe you should raise your hand. I can't.
You also click for home.
Sorry, who is talking? That person is not kind of audible. Please, can you come again? Okay, Faith.
Okay, when we clicked on the home, like when we click on that box, everything automatically got
everything
checked.
automatically got checked, which is not the right word, because as a user, I'm just trying to click on this home. So why is every other thing getting checked? So that is it. So if you should be able to check if user single selection, and there are cases we have multi-selection. Multi-selection is usually put at the top, like sometimes they'll put it at the top edge, like it will be somewhere around there before all these ones. So if you click on it, it will select everything. And if you unclick, I guess that's what they did for this one. I guess that's what they did. They put the multi-selects on this home Do you see what I'm saying now? So anytime I click on this home, it automatically selects everything. So you have to check if you can click on the checkbox, if you can unclick, if you can select multiple, if you can select multiple, if you can deselect, if the checkbox is also required, like if it's required checkbox, that's also another scenario you can check for. Imagine you are trying to fill a form and they said gender, male, female, and you don't want to fill that aspect, and it is like a required field, so you have to check for it also. Can users leave this checkbox unchecked without clicking rather? So you have to check for that also. You have to check if it is enabled. If it is enabled, what do I mean by enabled? Can I even click on it at all? Like if it is enabled, this checkbox, if it is enabled. So that is what we check for when we are checking, when we are testing our checkbox. Please, do we understand? Can I proceed? Do you have any question? All right, I'll just continue. Thank you, Samuel. So we have radio button. Don't forget, we talk about text box. We now understand that anytime we see anything of this, we have text box. I want to be as fast as possible because I want to give us a fact. Okay, so this is a checkbox. This is a checkbox. I've told you what you have to check for when you're testing a checkbox. This is a radio button. A radio button. Anytime you see something like this, radio button is different from checkbox. Checkbox is like square. Radio button is like circle. Because you are trying to know all these names, because when you're trying to write a bug report for your developer, it's not like you're trying to say, I am trying to click on that circle thing and it's not clicking. The developer will ask you, what is circle thing? So you need to give it proper naming convention. Like, okay, I'm trying to interact with the radio button and it's not working. So that radio button will sound meaning, like with sound very familiar to the developer, because of course they write the code and they know that that's what they use so they will be able to know where to go and fix it. Don't just be a keyword that tell the developer that there is a bug. Be a keyword that tell the developer that, okay, there's a bug. This is where you will find the bug. And this is almost, in most cases, you can even tell this is how you fix that bug. This is what caused that bug. Those are the kind of keyword that developer appreciates. Not just the keyword that developer that will push bugs to developer. Okay, I'll find the bug. Oh yeah, go and fix it. And how did it happen? I did not know. What is the name? I did not know. What am I going to test for? I did not know. No. We have to be a QA that helps developer to solve the bug, because we all are working hand in hand together to ensure that our application have a positive user experience. So if you have to check, okay, who is going to tell me what you have to test for in this when we are testing for radio button? And we have a single bug here who is going to tell me. If you want to talk, please raise your hand so I can know those people that want to talk. Anyone, please?
Okay, I will go first. So the first one I want you to try is click two boxes at the same time. The radio button. Click two at the same time.
How am I going to click two at the same time? Am I going to click one first? That one is not possible.
Yeah, one.
And I'm going to click this.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you very much, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You can mute. Oh, Abdul Aziz, right? Abdul Aziz.
Okay, we have to test if each one of them is working. I suspect that no, is not working.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, this is the like the most visible bug here. This no is disabled. So on this site, they don't expect me to use no, which is not correct. Thank you very much. This no is disabled. You can see I'm trying to click on it, but it does not allow me to click on it. So who else is going to tell us what we can test for when we are testing for radio button? Oh yeah, now testers. What other things can we test for? Blessing someone.
Okay, you check if when you click on two radio buttons, where they're going to stay at the
When
same
I
time, they're
click
going
on
to click
what?
on two of the radio buttons
at the same time. Yes, that they are going to click. All right. Who else is going to tell me what we are going to test for? We still have other things we can still test for when we are
Good
testing.
evening.
Yeah, good evening.
The test for if yes, is going to click yes, or the other one, the impressive going to click impressive.
All
That's
right,
if
all
going
right,
to respond to the right button.
all right. Responding to the right button. That's like another scenario. All right, peace. You can unmute and talk.
If you can unclick the radio button.
If you can unclick, yeah. People have been mentioning click. At least let me unclick the radio button now. I don't want to select no, I don't want to select anything. Let me just check. So you can see that I cannot unclick this radio button now. Because and when I come to this form, you can see nothing is selected, right? But immediately I try to click on yes and I try to unclick yes, I cannot unclick it. So that's the bug. So they're expecting me to select A. Jesus Christ, and there's no light. My PC is low. So and I will be very, very fast. Very, very fast. So and I'm trying to select yes. I'm trying to select no. I'm trying to select impressive. And I cannot uncheck the impressive again. So blessing, what other thing do you want to add?
So
Blessing.
yes, ma'am. I noticed that when you click the radio button, can I go back and check if the checkbox is still the same or it has changed or it started?
Okay, that's you going back to this one. If I check this and I come here and I check this, can I go back here and see if this one is still selected? Yes, that's another one. So we have multiple scenarios. Another thing we should always check for in case if it is specified is if it is required field. Don't let us forget that. If it is a required field, we have to check for it. And we are going to check for the default state. The default state. The default state of this should be none of it should be selected. Not like you have automatically click yes for your user and your user is not clicking yes. No, the default state should be like this. So we have to check for this. Now, everyone, let's go to this web table. I'm going to explain because my PC is very, very low. I want us to test this web table. Are we still on the site? What we are going to do, I've explained. You have to fill this form and fill this form. Now, you fill it first with a positive. Don't forget, I say positive scenario. Fill everything and start telling me the bugs you can see. That is our task. Are we working? Are we there now?
Can you repeat that, ma?
Okay.
Where do I?
Okay, the link is on the chat. This particular link is on the chat. Let me send another one. I'm very, very conscious of my PC right now. So I've sent another one. That is the link. You click on the link, you go to the web table section. There's an add button. You click on the add, you try to fill this form. First, fill it with positive response and submit. And another thing is that you should try testing the application. So if you are testing, let me know what you see, let me know what you found, let me know what you test for. Do you understand now? So if you want to talk, you just have to raise up your hand. Do you understand the question now, please? You can just react. You can just react if you know you understand. Faith, please, what's your question, please?
No, I don't have a question. I just want to.
Can you
said
react
when
that you've
we're done.
understand? All right. Thank you very much, Faith. Thank you. All right. So, do you have any question? Are we there? Like, are we start testing?
Yes.
ma'am. Yes.
All right. So let me know if you have a bug. If you have seen a bug, just raise up your hand. Okay, Faith, do you have a bug now?
Yes. The first one is
Okay.
just like the first, the one we did on the text box, like on the first
Okay.
name,
Yes.
the text area of the first name. When I inputted my email there and it ticked it like it's showing green that yes, it's correct, which is not
Yes, it's
supposed to be
correct.
so.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, Abdul Aziz, sorry. What is the bug now?
Okay, I think I've seen two. So the first one is the email section. So I tried maybe putting at gmail.co instead of .com. So and it accepted. So the
All right.
second one, while inputting my email, so I think maybe the at there should be option of okay, sorry. I think that one is from my keyboard. So, and I think the same thing Faith said earlier, number in your name section. So, and it accepted the feedback.
All right, Abdul Aziz. Sorry, my PC is down. I'm very sorry for that. So we can continue with the testing and keep giving me feedback, what we see, what we check for.
Okay, I just noticed when I put my email in my first name box, when I put email, it didn't tick correctly in the first name. That's a bug.
Can you do what, please? Bless, I can't hear you very well. Sorry.
I imputed my email where the first name
Oh, okay,
box,
okay,
then it
okay.
ticked correct, which is a bug.
Yes. All right. There are still more bugs on it. Please, let's test. Let's check for bugs.
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am.
I also found another bug.
I added I imputed 0 for my age and it accepted it.
Thank you very much. That's not a valid age. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a bug. That's a high priority bug. There's no way you can be 0 years and you'll be filling our form. Thank you very much. All right. Abdul
Also,
Hope.
Okay.
Ademola Hope. Unmute and talk, please. Abdul Aziz, please
Okay.
hold on. Okay, Ademola Hope.
So I used one for my department and it accepted it.
Yes, one is not a valid department, at least if it's so. Thank you very much. All right. Princess, you can go ahead. Unmute and talk.
Okay, so for the salary section, it doesn't accept any currency at all.
It doesn't
So I
accept
added dollar sign, it didn't accept it. I added the naira sign, I added euro. They didn't accept that.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a good bug also. Thank you very much. All right, Becca, unmute and talk. All right, others, please, if you do not talk, I'll come and call your name. That means you are not testing. If you did not raise up your hand, I'll still call your name. You must look for bug. That means you are not testing.
Okay, I used a special character on the name placeholder.
Yeah.
Accepted.
Thank you very much. Yes, a special place.
understand, save.
Who is not understanding?
No,
All right.
where are they imputing this
Hey.
thing? You're not supposed to impute it and try to find the bug. Is it or that type to search? Because I don't understand what's going on. I'm trying to.
Hello.
What
is your question?
I don't know how they are able to find the bug. Like, where am I to impute what I want to impute? I don't know. Is it on that type to search? I don't understand.
When did you join the call?
I've been here.
Okay, have you clicked on the link I sent to the chat?
Yes, I've opened it. The link bearing this first name, last name, age, email, salary, departments.
Yes. Are you trying to relate with it? Like, are you trying to test it?
I want to understand something. Yes.
And then if you're testing it, you should be able to know what is not talking. Who else is talking? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So what you're going to do is, after you've performed your positive testing, right, you have checked if it accepts positive values, like your full name accepts your full name, your email accepts your email, age accepts your proper age. Then you start testing for negative scenarios. What are negative scenarios? Things that are not supposed to be. It is not possible rather for a person's name to be number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you put it in that full name field. That is what I've been explaining since morning. Then you put it in that full name field and you try to check if it's actually working. Then if you are able to submit your form and it's returned back the value, then that means it's a bug. That's how they are able to get the bug. If you have been following the class since, you should be able to understand what they are trying to do, right? All right, let's continue.
Okay, ma.
Okay.
I input my email on my first name, and it accepted it.
Okay,
Is it
okay, yes. Your email and first name. Okay. Blessing Samuel, you still want to talk?
Yes,
Please.
ma. I noticed I put an emoji on the last name. He accepted it.
An
That's a
emoji.
bug.
Emoji also yes. Oh, all right. Okay. If you are please, is everyone still raising up their hands? Does they have anything they want to say? If you're raising up your hand, do you have
Yes.
anything you want to say? All right, Abdulaziz, please proceed. When you are done, you can raise
Okay.
down.
The salary cannot be 0, right? So, and I think it accepted 0 here.
Okay, the salary cannot be 0. There's no way I will work and you will not pay me. Why will you not tell me my salary is 0? So that's also a bug. All right, Faith, unmute and talk.
Yeah, another box that in the age section, the text box of the age, you can only input 2 digits, like no more than 2 digits.
2 digits. So they are not expecting us to live long. All right. I've been now. They're expecting us to reach age 99. How about if you're 100, 105, 200? So that's a valid bug. All right. Emmanuel, please.
I found a bug.
Yes, I caught by then.
I found a bug. Oh.
All right. What's your bug? Emmanuel, please, you're going to tell me your bug after, please.
I imputed number in the last name and it's submitted.
Yes, that's how you relate to the help, and that's how you report a bug. So try to do other things with other test inputs and try to tell me what the bug you found.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Emmanuel, please. You have not talked since morning. Since everybody have been finding bug, you will not tell me your own bug.
Okay, I just noticed the name, first name, last name. They take all characters regardless.
They take all characters regardless.
Yes, all characters. Yes.
They take all
They
characters.
take numbers. They take special characters.
Characters.
Yes,
All right.
and the salary, it takes both strings and integers too, numbers. And it accepts any number to 0, just input something, it will accept it. Even if it is THA you input, it will accept.
Okay, all right.
Then the department too. The email is the only thing working perfectly, like it's verifying well.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Okay, so Blessing Samuel. You want to report another bug?
Yes. I noticed in the department part, if you write a number, it still accepts it.
You notice what?
Department box. If you number,
Yes, even if you impute a country under department, this thing, it will accept it.
Okay.
If you impute a country under department box, it will accept it.
It will accept it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Becca, you raise your hand.
Yes, for the name, the characters are unlimited.
So you have been typing.
That means you impute yes, you can put in as many letters as you want and it will
As
accept.
you want. So they don't expect your name to be limited in characters. Like they want you to have endless character name. That's a bug. No validation, no proper validation, maximum and minimum validation. All right. Thank you very much, Becca. Thank you very much. Abdulaziz, right?
Yes. The salary section accepts maximum of 10 digits.
Accept maximum of 10 digits. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So they don't expect you to earn more than 10 digits.
Yes, then
They want us to be
billions.
broke. They want us to be broke. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, Shiamaka, please, are you in this class? I'm going to look for those people that have not been talking. I'm not sure everybody is doing, so I need to be so sure everybody is doing this. Shiamaka. Shiamaka. Hey, it's like Shiamaka is not in this class. Oh. Okay. Comfort. Comfort, are you in the class? Comfort.
Yes, I'm in the class. Sorry, I can't test. I'm using my phone and it's like trying to hang up. The phone is hanging.
Okay. So you can't test, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you can test later. Although that's your tax.
Yes.
How many of us have seen the tax? The tax I uploaded. I've uploaded
On
the
the
tax.
chat?
No, on the LMS channel.
Okay,
Yes,
LMS.
I've
Okay.
seen it.
Yes, our promotional tax.
Yes, I've seen it, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, please don't use AI, yo. You know, I'm expecting to see what I taught you in class. So if you use AI, I will know. Because that's why I said that you should try as much as possible to be available in today's class. So I'm expecting to see what I taught you in the class. So don't bother yourself to copy and paste my tags to AI and think I will promote you. I will not promote you. So yeah, I'm expecting to see everything we've talked about. It's very simple. It's what we've talked about. You just have to just go ahead and just look for application you want to test, the elements you want to interact with. We did not cover those elements. No, this is going to be like an assignment. You are going to go to that demo QA site. You are going to understand other elements. We have a section elements. That's the drop down. So you're going to check for other elements. I feel like we still have button. You're going to check the button. You're going to check the links. You are going to check. We still have other. We have image. We have broken image. So you're going to check other elements on that site also. You're going to check it. Then you're going to proceed with your task. All right, Blessing Samuel. Do you want to tell us another bug?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I noticed the email box. If you input any word you like, different characters, then you add at gmail.com, it accepts it.
And that's the validation. You know, most of this Gmail validation, they do not. They just add it like whatever you want your character to be, your name to be, at gmail.com, like at example.com. That's how they design the code structure, right? We can say it's a bug, we can say it's not a bug, but it has to be limited, and it has to check for other things, like number of special characters, number of, like that plus sign someone mentioned the other time also. Since email neglects anything after that plus sign, so you should be able to either they should convert that plus sign to a space bar and try to collapse it, like try to make it not to be anything and collapse those files together so it will work that way, or they should just flag error to users that. And we have to test for proper error handling also, like if users are able to get the right error message. In this site we are using, that is our application under test currently, the demo QA, they did not tell us what happened. They just either they just give us a red, either they just give us a red to flag that okay, we are not doing it right. They are not giving us proper error message, like this is required, this should not be done. So sorry, I'm so sorry for that. So they are not giving us the right error message, right? So we have to check as a QA, you have to check if our application is also giving users the right error message. We have to check if our application is giving users the right error message. So that's everything we have to check for. So do we have any other person that wants to report a bug, or that want to Sam? Do you have another person that wants to report a bug before we call it a day, or any other question generally? Or we have any other question generally? There's a Samuel, please. You can unmute and talk. Blessing.
I'm done. Yes, ma'am. I'm here, ma'am. I've not noticed any bugs. All the bugs that
Okay, you can raise down your hand then. All right, do you have any question? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? So do we understand manual testing now and how we test manually, how we test our UI? Okay, Favor, please.
Okay, yeah. So this my question is, this demo testing we are doing, can we say this is under like unit testing?
Okay, because it's like a section, like yes, not
Yes.
not the form section, Sha. Because the form, if we are doing the form section, do you get my point now? If you are filling a form, like is more like you are doing multiple things, but we can say it's more like a unit testing. Can say it's more like a unit testing. Favor, do you understand?
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, do you have any other question before we call it a day? I'm so sorry, my PC went off and there's no lights. I would have loved to continue with at least 2 or 3 other elements we can test and how we interact with it. And there's no way I can do that with my phone. Or will I try to use my phone for it? Should I try to use my phone for it, or we should call it a day? We'll go and do it as an assignment and
I think we should call it a day. Don't bother.
okay, Emmanuel said we should call it a day. All right. So let's go and study other elements in that demo QA. We have other elements in the element section. Just go and study it. Think about things that you can try: positive, negative, edge, boundary. Just think about anything that comes to you. Just try to interact it with the application, see its feedback, and just try to note it down. So for our tax, it is our promotional tax, and the deadline is July 14, 11:59 p.m. Our advice was not to wait for the deadline before we start. And the task is that you have to identify 4 real life websites, like identify 4 websites, and you have to tell. I give an example of what I'm expecting the UI elements will be testing on those real life websites. You cannot copy anybody, because there's no way you can be submitting the same website for me and you expect me to promote you. If I see that, okay, this person used Jumia, Konga, Temu, and another app, and I'm opening your own link also, and I'm seeing the same application, so that is like I know that's copy. So you guys have copy. So don't try to copy anybody. Don't try to ask for anybody you can ask anybody to explain to you, not to directly help you or to directly copy and paste their work for you. It's not allowed. And don't use AI. My task will not require you to use AI, because it's not as if I'm not expecting you to put more effort. Of course, I will always appreciate more effort with more grades, but I'm not expecting you to now start giving me all these big English AI will give you, or to now start giving me all these big scenarios AI will give you. No, just try to interact it as the users will interact with the application, and submit my task on time. In absence of no question, or is there any? Yep. So we can call it a night. Like, good night, everyone.
So sorry, before you go, a question.
All right, Emmanuel.
Okay, I'm like, example, we are using Jumia
Yeah.
and we are testing probably from the registration. Do we have to indicate, okay, the registration page, or we just use Jumia straight and identify any element from any page? We don't need to identify, okay, is this page, is this page?
No, you have to identify. You are talking about elements, not page here, right? So you just have to use Jumia, and you have to identify elements you are testing on Jumia, not page.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am.
All
I
right.
wanted to ask, how do we put our reports? Like, are we going to report based on what we take today, or we should put out?
On the app you are testing?
Yes, and also I have another question. Is it necessary must be a website? Could we use apps?
If you use app, how am I to validate that application you are testing have those elements if I did not have the app? I feel like if you use website and have the link there, if I click on it, if I'm trying to check, that's why I use websites though. If I click on it, I'll be able to validate, okay, this is what's this. Do you get my point? So I prefer we use website, not application, because I may not have those application on my PC or phone. Lesson, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. It remains
Yeah.
the first question I asked. I say, how is the report going to give us?
So what I'm expecting from you is just to give me the URL of the site you are testing, the 10 elements you are testing, and what you are checking for. And if you find bug, right, you can do extra. Me, I like students that do extra. If you do extra, you will get on my mark. So you can just do extra, just write it under that site before you proceed to the next site. You know, you have to do like 4 sites. So just write it under that site. Okay, when I'm testing this site, I found this. Because we've not done test case, we've not done bug reporting. So to report bug now might not be easy for us, but we are still going to cover that later in the day, like in our coming sections. Blessing, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
All right, thank you very much. All right, do you have any other question? Any other question? Okay, Temidayo.
Okay, yeah. My question is, for the sites that you're talking about, are we going to do 10 for each of the websites?
Yes, 10 elements you're interacting with that is on the website. Please note that those elements, it's not as if you are telling me you test a search field and I get to the website, I did not see any search field. That's why I said you should not try to use AI. Do you get my point now? It's not all sites that has search fields. Some sites need it, some sites do not need it. Some sites do not requires it. So if you are testing a site, just tell me the site you are testing, the element you interact with on the site. So that's it, then, Dario. Do you have another person that wants to talk before we call it a day? All right. In the absence of no question, please let's do our task. We can do it. We can start doing it as soon as this night. Don't feel like I can do it within a day. Deadline is deadline. Don't wait for second opportunity. It's not assured. Don't use AI. Don't use any form of what? Any form of machine. Do you have any other question? I really don't understand. Omolara, can you please unmute and tell me what you don't understand so I will explain? Omolara, please unmute and tell me what you don't understand so I can explain.
Okay.
Good evening.
What I don't understand is when you said we should list 10 elements. Are we listing 10 elements for different how will I say, for Jumia now? Are we listing 10 elements that we discover or a bug that we discover? So for Temu, are we listing 10 elements? Is that how we're doing it, or just 10 elements for everything?
This is what you are going to do. You are to go to Jumia, right? Identify 10 elements. What I mean by elements is checkbox, drop down, text field, search button. Do you get my point? So you have to identify those elements first. After you identify those elements, then you have to tell us how you will interact, how you will test those elements on Jumia. So imagine you are done on Jumia. You will go to another site. It might not be Konga per se. You might go to any other site. You might go to Google as your second site.
on as well.
What do you say?
I said I can also use Amazon, like different sites.
Yes, you can also use Amazon. You can use anything. It's not necessary you use e-commerce. Please, I just use that as an example. It's not necessary you use e-commerce. Just use sites that you are familiar with, sites you have been working with before. But this time around, you are not using it as a user. You are using it as a tester. Just so it will not be so difficult for you. Use sites you are very familiar with, sites you are comfortable using before. So just use it. But this time around, they are not using it as a user. You have to test it and you have to report bugs if you find any.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So do you have any other question? All right. In the absence of none, good night. Our next class is Friday, and by then we all should be done with our tax. The tax deadline is 14, and I'm expecting us to please put your best in the tax. Don't just give me small thing. Impress. Let me be impressed when I'm doing it, so I'll be able to give you all my mark. The 100 score, I'm not taking it home. I want to give it to my trainers, my trainees. So let's put in our best to the task. Thank you very much. See you all on Friday, 6:30. Bye.
Yeah, bye, man.